What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the brand new series, new season of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I want to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of the show. I watched the first 2 seasons. I reviewed the first season. I'll put a little link up here for that. Second season, I never got around to reviewing it, but this time around, we have Sabrina Spellman and her friends back. She's a cheerleader by day and witch by night, as they say in the poster. For part 3. So the first 2 seasons, they set up a lot of great stuff. There's a really big cliffhanger at the end of season 2. Not really sure where they're going to go with part 3. And this time around, it's only 8 episodes. I thought it would be at least 10, but it's cut down to 8 episodes. And you can definitely tell it's a bit rushed in certain parts of the season. But overall, I had a really good time with it. Set up of this season, we have Sabrina Spellman, and she's going to hell, essentially, with her friends. It was a really cool setup. There's a lot of campiness to this season. It reminded me much of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Really great show. Campiness is not a bad thing. I love all the darker tones they went at with this season, but also felt really campy. It really stayed true to like 80s and 90s horror, which I absolutely loved about it. But last season, we had the love interest Nick in the show with Sabrina, and this time around he's in this season. A lot of shit happens to Nick, not so good for him, and you don't really know if he's going to pull through in this season. With Sabrina and her friends, they end up going to hell, the thresholds of hell, and the whole set design and costume design this season was top notch. I love the way they set up hell. As you can imagine, you would think it's like fire and brimstone and dark, and you know, you're thinking of Dante's Inferno. We'll tackle that in this season, but a really cool setup of going down to hell. It's like on the ocean. It's like a blood road they have to follow to find the Queen of Hell. They meet this character, Caliban. He's a big part, intricate part of season 3. Caliban has the same goals as Sabrina this season, but his character is pretty cool. He reminded me of a young Chris Hemsworth. He had the beautiful golden locks, and he just reminded me of a young Chris Hemsworth, which I absolutely loved about it. I'm like, yeah, him and Sabrina will probably end up hooking up at some point in this season, but I'm not going to say anything about that. But the setup of his character down in hell, kind of pointing Sabrina and her friends in the direction to find the Queen of Hell, was really fantastic, and them actually showing up. Really, really great practical effects in this season. One of my favorite parts, and seeing all the monsters and creatures and demons down here in hell, the practical effects were really, really well done. And again, it reminded me much of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I thought the prosthetic work on these monsters in part 3 of Sabrina looked really well done. Really spooky and creepy, and also comedic at the same time, because you have some demons that are always like talking shit to Sabrina. Like, you can't run hell. You don't know anything about it. You're a teenager, for Christ's sake. Setup of seeing Lucifer, Satan down in hell, and how that really connects to Sabrina is really set up really nicely, and it kind of shows what Sabrina's future is going to be like. It was a really cool arc for Sabrina this season. I kind of liked what they did with her character being down in hell, and then you know, being in high school, kind of going back and forth. A lot of cool time travel and magic and mystery. A lot of cool aspects about that. And my 2 favorite witches are back this season, Zelda and Hilda, Sabrina's aunts. I thought they're really fantastic and really great this season. Zelda is always like the bitchy character, where Hilda is more the laid back, really cool aunt. They're complete opposites between, you know, Hilda and Zelda, but when it comes down to getting the job done, they always come together and works. And I love their chemistry this season. It just gets better and better each season, and I thought they really worked great together. And there's some unfortunate circumstances that happen to these characters. I'm not going to say too much about that towards the end. I really love these actresses. I love what they brought to these characters this season, and definitely one of my favorite performances for sure. They're definitely intricate parts to the whole story, and again, the end of the season is really surprising. Another very important aspect of the season, it's not just focusing on Sabrina and Harvey and her group of friends going to high school and fighting off demons, going to hell and things like that. They expand on this universe. More characters are introduced. We already kind of fleshed out what Sabrina is in the first 2 seasons, and also Sabrina's future having to do with hell, but they also, you know, introduce a lot of other supporting cast and other characters that are very intricate in this season. A lot of it having to do with, you know, hell and things like that, mythology. I love how they had a bunch of different stories and different characters kind of going on at the same time. I don't think I got lost, you know, with all the stories and characters. I think it all worked pretty much. I mean, the first 4 episodes of the season were a little slow, trying to find their footing, kind of what tone they're going for, but the last 4 episodes are really fantastic in the season. But with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3, this is definitely one of my favorite seasons to date. I thought season 2 was a little slow. I didn't really care for it. I liked the first season a lot, but part 3 really takes it to the next level for sure in terms of costume design, set design, the darker tones they're going for, introducing hell, Sabrina and her friends going down to hell and seeing like Lucifer there, the Queen of Hell, and all these creatures and demons and things like that, and them also trying to balance this life of going to high school and living daily life, being a cheerleader, you know, dealing with all the drama of being a teenager as it is, and then going to hell, you know what I mean? You know, high school is hell, as we all know, and I really love the overall tone and darkness in this season. I mean, it gets really fucking dark. It's very gory. There's a lot of, you know, satanic elements to it, dealing with the devil and witchcraft and things like that. You know, people that are, you know, Christians or, you know, very religious may not like that about this, because obviously Lucifer, Satan's not a good thing, going to hell's not a good thing. Setting up this atmosphere of what this young teenage girl being a witch and her going to hell, and what could happen to that and where that could lead her. I thought it was really cool. It's a cool story. The whole set design, costume design, the whole atmosphere they built in the show is really dark and eerie at times, but also campy at the same time. I love the overall colors throughout the entire season, like the first two. It's very dark. You can tell it's like in the Pacific Northwest, being Greendale, which isn't too far from Riverdale. And there's a cool little crossover with that, and that's all I'm going to say about that. That was really cool and surprising in this season. But the overall way everything looks is very dark and dreary and rainy, and it really sets the perfect atmosphere. The only real complaints I had about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3, it got a bit slow and they didn't know where it was going. In like the first half of the season, they didn't know what they're trying to do with it. They're trying to introduce other characters, and it just seemed a little choppy and not as smooth as the second part of the season. But, you know, like I said, episode 5 and then all the way to episode 8, it really picks up. And demons taking over bodies, and you're having like character like Dorian Gray and Satan and the Queen of Hell, and just all these great characters and witches and pagans, and it really picks up and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. I love the way they end episode 8. It really sets it up nicely for the next season. We have a lot of question what it all means. What does this have to do with Father Blackwood, with Sabrina? Where is she going next? What's going to happen to her friends? And also, you know, her family and other people they introduced in this season. What's all going to happen to them? Where is this going to go? But the ending of part 3 really left me with a lot of questions, but also really made me satisfied at the same time. And I honestly think it was one of the best seasons to date. I just love how dark they went with these characters, introducing a lot of new people, going to hell, being on Earth, dealing with normal problems on top of witchcraft and demons and hell and all that stuff. So I had a great time with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3. I love the acting. Kiernan Shipka knocks it out again. She gets better and better each season playing Sabrina Spellman, this teenage witch. Everything she's coming across in her life of, you know, being a witch and going to hell and her family and love interests and all that stuff. And she really tackles a lot and she kicks a lot of ass, and she is punk rock as fuck. I really love Kiernan Shipka, really her best role to date. I really can't wait to see what she does in her future with movies and other TV shows, but I really love her portraying Sabrina Spellman. It's dark as fuck. And all the other characters such as Ambrose, Harvey, Theo, Zelda, Hilda, introducing a lot of new characters this season. Caliban, him and Sabrina really butt heads, but his overall goal was definitely in line with Sabrina's goal with going to hell. So I thought his character was really great this season. A young Chris Hemsworth, I really enjoyed his acting and portrayal of this character. There's a lot of great arcs in this season, really great storytelling. It definitely took a little bit to get the season going. It was a little slow in the beginning, but once it found its footing, it got way better in the second half of the season. Really beautiful costume design, set design. I really can't wait to see what happens in the next season. Really a great season overall. 8 episodes long. It's a little shorter than the other seasons. They get to the point, and I really like the ending, the final episode, what all happens there and what it means for the next chapter of Sabrina. So I'm going to give the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Part 3 a 3.5 out of 5 witch hair pieces. So what did you guys think of the brand new season of the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you guys think of that ending? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out with Sabrina up here in Greendale. Until the next video review. Cheers!